Hey guys, this is Vol. I've got a little bit of a cold today, but that's not going to stop me commentating on a replay between Mind and Prada Zerg. Really interested to watch a replay by Mind, because it's not often you get to see a replay from the practice houses of these pro gamers. And Mind being one of my favourite Terrans, he's definitely right at the top, up there with Flash and the rest of them. In terms of Terran, and he's definitely good at all three matchups, all the Terran matchups, and he's up against Prada Zerg, who's the blue Zerg at the top right of the map this game. Mine is down at the bottom left as red, and the map is Blue Storm. So a very interesting map. I've always liked Blue Storm, especially since they tweaked it a little bit with the 1.2 version, as I would have talked about in previous commentaries on this map. Mind, of course, from WeMad Fox, the Pro League team. I've been watching a lot of Pro League lately, and WeMad Fox is doing alright, I guess. Did a commentary featuring Nada recently, and that was quite cool. And this time we've got Mind, so let's see what he comes up with. I get the feeling this is going to be a real clinic on how to play Terran vs Zerg on this map. Mind being a real dominant force in all matchups, as I said, and Mine going straight for the barracks here as usual. What we like to see in Terran vs Zerg these days is this very standard build order where you go two supply depot, or first supply depot, then barracks, then another supply depot, and then command center straight away. And the reasoning behind this is that you send out your scouting SCV first, and if you see that first hatchery going down before spawning pool, as Prada is doing, and then you see the late spawning pool, you know that you can actually get your command center up in time to avoid any kind of early Zergling rush. And by then you've got a couple of Marines ready when the Zerglings arrive, and you can just put them in a bunker. And with sufficient micromanagement and base layout, you can actually prevent yourself from being overrun and give yourself a decent run into the early game up against 3 hatch, which is the standard Zerg build. As I mentioned to you guys, I've got a bit of a cold, but still really keen to do this commentary anyway, so I hope you guys don't mind. SCV just having a go at that spawning pool, just to be annoying, just hacking away with it with the fusion cutters. And there's Mind's command center now. He knows that those Zerglings are not going to be on top of him for a while yet, so he's got the command center down. There's the second supply depot already going up. Next, he'll probably be wanting to get a refinery and just get straight into refinery and academy before even putting any more barracks down, and then that's when he can start pumping out the Marines and medics like crazy. Great, and there's Prada's third hatchery right there. So we know that both players are doing a very standard build in terms of these days, what's standard nowadays. And this is the modern face of Terran vs Zerg, as most players know by now. So what would we be expecting from Prada's Spire? You don't really see what do you call it, Hydralist in first from Korean players these days. You do see it sometimes, but it's more common with the foreigners. I think with pro players, they just know that their opponent's going to be able to deal with early lurkers more easily than they can deal with early mutalisks, and that's just a way of it these days. And then they go straight into lurkers after the hydralisk, after the lurker, or they just go straight into ultralisks, and that can be very powerful too. But there's a counter to everything, and I think Mind will be able to adapt to whatever Prada throws at him here. So that expansion is already up and running for Mind. He's got the SCVs transferred over. He's going to be trucking along with this economy very shortly. He's probably switching into 3 barracks. And there's the lair from Prada, so he's just wasting no time getting up there. He wants to get his Spire out well in time to put some hurt on Mind's economy. And he's got to harass Mind successfully to really get an advantage in the mid game. If not, then Mind, or player of Mind's caliber, you just cannot let him run away with the game like that. He'll just out-muscle you basically in the middle of the map. That's usually what happens. And second gas going down for the Zerg. So let's see what else we've got. This layer is probably nearly finished yet, 3/4 done, and then we'll see a Spire. Just always interested in where the Zerg player places their Spire. It's quite a fun thing to look out for, because you always want to put it. Now looks like we've got a drone going behind the mineral line, so that's probably what's going. Yeah, there we go. So looks like we've got a Spire right there. It's always good to put your Spire in a different location every time if you're a Zerg, to just throw the Terran off and make him waste scans trying to find out where your tech is, and make absolutely sure you've gone for Spire rather than a Hydralist Den and Locus. Alright, so 3 barracks rolling for Mind, and he's left a couple of Marines out in the open. Oh my god, these Marines are going to have to run for cover because the Zerglings... Oh, man, that was just a bit of a bad positioning, shall we say, for Mind, and he's lost a couple of units there, but it's not too big a deal. It's only a couple, and at least he's got his base layout and everything going perfectly. It's not a big deal. That engineering base researching +1 weapons, really useful if you're up against Mutalisks, as people know. And one other good thing about Mind, if you are watching out for this, is how he times his turrets, because he'll know that Prada's going for Spire, and he'll time his turrets just so they're put up before the Spire arrives, and that's quite important in this matchup, just to delay the turrets too long. You don't want to be late with your turrets, obviously, because you'll just get trashed by the Mutalisks. But if you can delay the turrets for a while, that gives the SCVs more time to mine minerals early on the game, and the earlier you can mine minerals in a game of StarCraft, the better, really. It's such a good investment in your infrastructure. And these Zerglings just trying to get away in, and Mind's not going to have any of that. He's just keeping his units exactly the place he needs to, right in the smack in the middle of the natural expansion there, just ready to stim up and run to either side, just to block the block the Zerglings and destroy them if they're coming in. So Spire going up, Mutalisks being spawned just now, and that's when Mind is beginning on the missile turrets. He knows that he doesn't have to get them just yet, but he's just starting on them now. And they'll be completed. The majority of them will be completed just in time for the Mutalisks. So here they are. Nice placement here. I like it how he's got his turrets right next to the mineral line, in between the mineral line and the command center. That way, if they get attacked, the SCVs are right close by to repair them. And here the Mutalisks Mind's already got his missile turrets up. So great timing there by Mind. Real model stuff of exactly how to do it. And these Mutalisks are just going to look for an opening now, but Mind's defenses are pretty tight here. He's got his Marines out in the field, so he's able to come in and actually catch the Mutalisks in between his base and his army, but there is a cliff there, so the Mutalisks will be able to get outside. So not too big a worry for them. The SCV heading down just on cue. Mind's got the whole game planned out in his head. He knows that the Zerg will probably be expanding down the bottom right, so he's sending out an SCV just to make sure. These players expect the same things from their opponents a lot of the time, because really they would have sort of discovered a range of optimal play. Really, they will know what strategy is most likely to result in a win for them, and they know what their opponent will be doing. So there's a lot of expectations in games like this, and not too many surprises. And bear in mind, this is not a tournament game, it's just a practice game, so these players are just playing standardly. They're trying to work on their macro management and stuff, and they're not trying to do anything really risky against their opponent, since it's a practice game, I guess. And this SV, walking past the Sun Colony, since there's only one single Sun Colony, the SV actually makes it past, so that's great that he got in there, and he's able to see that den. He's able to see that hive going down. He's able to see that single Evo chamber. So Mind's got a pretty good idea of what Prada's game plan is, even though he was roughly expecting this anyway, as I said. Mutalisks making their way into Mind's base now, but he's got some reinforcements. Zergling's coming in as well, so putting in a bit more of a committed attack, but he knows that's not going to work, pulling out already, and flying past some missile turrets. So no, that's great. The Mutalisks are taking a lot of flak here. They're not going to really do much damage, and I quite like that placement there of the 2 turrets, just right in the middle there, to stop the Mutalisks from running around down the south of the base. It's quite well if you know your base layout in TVZ. And Marines putting in the offensive now. The Mutalisks coming in to actually snipe them, and a lurker egg being morphed, and the Marines are targeting that. I'm not sure whether they'll be able to take that out, and it's getting very low on health. Oh my god, it was taken out, so there's one lurker that won't be able to trouble the Marines later in the game. So well done there by Mind. Taking a look at the expansion down the bottom right, he's got a Sun Colony go up, and lurkers are ready to attack here. The Mutalisks are all gone now. The Marines making it out of the way just in time. Mind's just camping around a bit to make some more units, I think. At this point, 5th barracks going down. We've got a factory and starboard out. We've got science facilities out. Mind's taking his mineral only, so that's good. Oh, good split there by the Marines. Taking minimal casualties from these lurkers. That's what I love about pro play versus lurkers. You always see just perfect control against lurkers almost. And there's a Defiler's mound going down, so we're going to see Defilers first from Prada. Sensible choice if you've got a lot of lurkers in the field. You want to play defensive and secure those expansions, and Defilers are a really good way to do that. Defilers, very good offensive unit and very good defensive unit, so it's a decent choice if you're in this sort of situation. And mine's still got the same group of Marine Medic out in the field. He's just content to sort of play around with this group and keep it alive for as long as he can while just macroing up his forces. And often decisions you see from pro players, although you may not realise it, often revolve around giving them more time. Like they'll do something out in the field in terms of micromanagement that might not make that much sense. But what it's doing is allowing them to actually keep up their perfect macromanagement, and it gives them heaps of time to go around and make sure everything's going right at home, and that's going to win it for them in the long run. I'll just give you an example of that. You see mine just moving out with just a few forces out in the middle of the field, even though he's got tons back at his natural expansion. He doesn't want to bother actually rallying the new forces around and walking them around the cliff and micromanaging them and hotkeying them, because that will actually slow him down in terms of his macromanagement. He can just get away with using a small force out in the field for now, and it looks like he's supplemented it finally. But that's something which will give him more time and make